Yo, what's good, everyone? Your boy Deke back again with another vid. We got some breaking news. Le'Veon Bell has been released from the Baltimore Ravens. Here's the news. Also, Le'Veon Bell announcing the release on his personal Twitter, talking about the blessing it was to be a Raven, blah, blah, blah. Too many nice things to be saying about the Ravens. But Le'Veon Bell is now a free agent pending waivers. I got to assume he's going to be clearing waivers, especially if Odell Beckham Jr. clears waivers. Le'Veon Bell, considering his output this season and where he's at in his career compared to OBJ, he's going to clear waivers too. So I'm expecting him to be a free agent. There's some reports that the Ravens are actually going to try to bring him back on practice squad, or there's at least that hope that they're going to bring him back. I don't know if that's the case based off this tweet by Le'Veon Bell. It seems like he's done in Baltimore. Whether the Ravens want him back or not, I don't know if Le'Veon Bell is going to go for going back to their practice squad, which leaves an opening. Something to consider. And I think something the Steelers should seriously consider, and that's bringing back Le'Veon Bell. Now, here's my timeline of my thoughts on the Steelers bringing back Le'Veon Bell. Ever since, let's go back to like the beginning of the offseason. So he doesn't get re-signed by the Chiefs. Not going back there. He's a free agent. This is before the draft. I wanted the Steelers to sign him because at the time, James Conner was a free agent. I think Benny Snell was literally the only other running back on the roster. Him and Anthony McFarland, Jalen Samuels. Watched some of Le'Veon Bell's. Actually, no, I didn't watch his highlights. I watched literally every snap that Le'Veon Bell got the ball at some point in like February, March. I did a video on it. And from my standpoint, he looked fine with the Chiefs. He just didn't get that many opportunities. Still averaged 4 yards a carry. Thought he made a lot of dudes miss. Chiefs' offensive line wasn't that good either. So I was all for us signing Le'Veon Bell, especially because it was going to be at a discount. We were probably only going to get him for like $1 million or $2 million, and that meant we could spend our cap space on other positions. But we didn't bring in Le'Veon Bell. We ended up drafting Najee Harris. So after the draft, I was like, you know what? Le'Veon Bell's still a free agent. I don't really think it's worth it to bring him in here. We know the history with Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers. Let's have Najee Harris carve out his own path, establish himself, and not have a potential distraction. Time goes on. Le'Veon signs with the Ravens. Najee Harris is establishing himself in training camp, preseason. Le'Veon Bell is on Ravens practice squad. He ends up getting called up. I don't know which week into the season. He has a very limited role. His best game came against the Vikings. Had a nice little stat line, 11 carries, 48, almost 50 yards. Then they end up releasing him right now. Najee Harris has done what I said, and that is establish himself as the starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, an offensive rookie of the year candidate. But what happened last week whenever there were reports of Najee Harris having a foot injury, he's limited in practice, I think we were all thinking to ourselves, damn, we're kind of screwed. We're kind of screwed. Who is our backup running back? Is it Balaj? Which I would be 100% willing to give him a chance if Najee Harris went down. But it's Balaj. It's Benny Snell. McFarland can't really stay on the field. He's injured all the time. I think Le'Veon Bell, right now, I may have been wrong in saying like he hasn't lost it at all. Like I think he's the same player. Maybe he's lost it a touch. But still, based off those Chiefs highlights, those Chiefs snaps that I watched, I think there's still something there. Ravens, kind of a different system. I wasn't sure exactly how his play style was going to work with them. And, yeah, it just seemed like they were going to roll with Devontae Freeman, Latavius Murray. They were better fits for what they were running. Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers, though, the familiarity with Ben Roethlisberger. I know maybe there's a lack of familiarity with the new offense, Matt Canada, but still, it's Ben Roethlisberger. There's still a lot of familiar faces here. Wouldn't you rather have seen, you know how Mason Rudolph tried to make that dump off to Kalen Balaj, and I know he made a bad pass, or you could say Kalen Balaj ran the wrong route, whatever it was. It ended up in an interception. Wouldn't it be better to have Le'Veon Bell out there for one of those dump-off passes, or one of those times that we need to spell Najee? Wouldn't it be better to have Le'Veon Bell than Kalen Balaj or Benny Snell? I think it's something to consider. I don't think Le'Veon Bell is going to be a distraction at this point in the season, too. Like I mentioned, Najee Harris has already established himself. No matter who we brought in, he is running back number one. Le'Veon Bell's job would be to back up Najee Harris, be a contributor when we need him, when we need someone to spell Najee. And we've already had talks about, is Najee getting too much of the workload? I wouldn't mind having Le'Veon Bell as RB2. Maybe getting 5 snaps, 10 snaps, something like that. I think it's something to consider. Especially with Najee Harris's workload. And you got to think, too, Le'Veon Bell being on the Ravens practice squad, getting called up to their team, being in a limited role, how his stints with the Chiefs and the Jets ended up. If he gets on our squad, like what problems is he going to be causing? Especially after Najee Harris has shown he's the guy. Think it's something to consider. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm all for it. Likelihood of it happening, I doubt it. He could be another weapon on offense, though. You're seeing a bunch of our dudes getting hurt. Matt Canada, we talk about his creativity. Why couldn't he come up with a nice little 2 running back formation for maybe 5 snaps or so with Le'Veon and Najee Harris out there? And we know what Le'Veon could bring to the table as a 3rd or 4th receiver. Something to consider. That's all. I kind of got a little bit excited when I saw that he was released from the Ravens. I think it could be a fit. I think it could be a potential fit for both sides. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Stay chilling. Peace.